people, what's going on? Hope you're all doing amazingly well. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, it would be amazing if you could subscribe, like, comment, do all the things that you know you need to do. And without further ado, we'll get into this video. And today I want to talk about happiness. Happiness is quite a broad subject, purely because it means different things to different people. There's different elements that make people happy compared to what other things make people happy. It's very individual. One thing that will make one person happy won't make the other person happy, and vice versa. We all have things that we deem to make us feel happy in ourselves. It might be materialistic, it might be certain people around us, it might be certain concepts, beliefs, values. I think it's important as an individual to find out what makes you happy, what is your happy, what gives you that thing of you get up in the morning and think, oh, this makes me feel happy, this is why I'm doing it. What does it mean to be happy? Is it a certain thing that I need to have? Is it, a certain way of life that I need to do things? That person looks amazing doing the things that they do every single day. Should I be doing the same thing as that person? It can kind of get a bit complicated sometimes, which sounds really silly when you think about it. Why is it so difficult to be happy? And especially as you get older, things change. Different things make you happy, different things make you think, oh, okay, so this is something that maybe you didn't find made you that happy before, but actually maybe it does now. Maybe things that did make you feel happy previously don't so much now. As you grow as a person, you find your own elements of what makes you happy. Do we rely on objects more so? Are materialistic things the way of life in terms of being happy? Do we need to get things for ourselves in terms of, needing to buy a house or a car or beauty products, things like that? Are they the things that we need to have in our lives in order to make ourselves feel happy? Is it being with somebody? Do we need to be in a relationship to be happy? Is it having lots of friends? Is it having a small group of friends? Is it being with family? Is it being on your own? Is it being independent? There are lots of things that incorporate happiness, and there are a lot of things that people do that make themselves feel happy. Different people can make people feel happy, different objects can make people happy. Like I said, it's a very broad concept. It's something that you can get to the nitty-gritty of and think, ultimately, what is happiness for you? What does it mean to you? When you're younger, it's very simple. When I was younger especially, the little things of like going to town on a Saturday, going to the park, having little treats, like, maybe you might get a present from mum or dad, or my grandpa, he used to love getting me little treats. And obviously as you get older, you might move on from let's take parks as the example. So you love parks as a kid, and then as you get older, you might want to start doing more theme parks. And then when you get a bit older, you might think the thought of going on a roller coaster just fills me with dread. No, thank you. So it's that kind of thing. Things that did make you happy previously, they just change, because as you grow as a person, your hobbies change, your interests change, things that motivate you and inspire you change, and ultimately then so does your happiness. Your happiness alters to what is present for you in this moment. Things were a lot simpler when we were younger as well. My gosh, like just being able to go to school, see friends, come home again, chat online, or go around each other's houses, have tea, just the little simple things that made you feel happy before. And they were amazing memories as well. Like looking back on it, I think, oh, they were the best times, but they were much simpler times then. But then again, as we've grown older, different things we start attracting, different things we start doing, and ultimately our happiness changes over time. And then you come into your teens or adolescence or young adult, and then other things you start seeking to make yourself happy, whether that be looking for a relationship, whether that be social media, that becomes more of an influence because you start seeing things online that people are doing, whether that be hanging out with people, wearing particular things, or going to different places, and you think they look happy doing that, maybe that's something that I need to be doing more of. You start comparing your happiness to other people's and then defining what is the right happiness. But then it shouldn't be what is the right happiness, it should be what is the right happiness for you. That person on social media could be doing all those things that are deemed to make themselves happy, but they might be going through struggles, they might be finding other things as well in the meantime that they're trying to do to make themselves happy. Maybe that's their way of experimenting, to think, okay, so this might be making me happy, if I try this, if I start posting more photos, maybe I get more likes. It becomes more numerical rather than a feeling. And then sometimes it can feel like if you don't have these things, then you can't be happy. You need to have these things in order to be happy. That's kind of false advertisement, because you're putting out there for people feel that they need to have all these things in their life incorporated. I have been sucked into that previously, where I've just looked at other people, I've compared myself to other people's lives, and I think, oh, like, I haven't got this, or I haven't got that person, or I haven't got all those things that they're doing, I haven't got the experiences that they've been having, and that's something that I need to be doing for myself. But ultimately, it's not what you should be doing for yourself. You need to be finding what makes you happy, what is ultimately makes you happy and makes you feel fulfilled about life. You can have it split in two ways. You can have short-term happiness and long-term happiness. So in terms of short-term happiness, it could be the amount of likes that you get on a photo. It could be the amount of comments that you get on a photo, for example, so something numerical. Somebody messaging you, for example, so somebody you didn't expect might message you and, like, you know, make you think, oh, lovely. Food, alcohol, consuming any of those, whether that might be chocolate or a nice cocktail, and you think, oh, like, this is lovely. But then obviously that wears off over time. Buying something new, something materialistic, like you might be buying a new outfit for yourself, but again, all those things are short-term happiness. You'll get that buzz for however long, few minutes, half an hour, and then it just completely goes again. And then you kind of need to think, I need another buzz, and then you try and seek it. But then you also need to look at long-term happiness. It can be things like relationships, it can be things like family time, things that you are constantly doing every single day, whether that's hanging out with people, hanging out with yourself. It's more of the emotional stuff. It's more of the long-term happiness, the things that you face, and gives you that emotion of happiness and makes you think, oh, this is why I live life. This is part of my happiness. And it's important to know the difference between the two. I've had it before where I've got a lot of likes on a photo and I think, oh, I feel a lot better about myself, and then I might post another photo the next day and it doesn't get so many likes, and I think, what did I do wrong then? And that shouldn't be where you should seek your happiness. A lot of people do, but it shouldn't be focused on the short-term happiness. It should be focused on the long-term happiness. What do you want for yourself in the future? Do you want to buy yourself a nice house and be able to create it into your own thing? Do you want to be traveling to different places and experiencing new things and be able to plan it down to a T so that you know what you're doing where and having something to look forward to? It should be things that, you know, are constantly building every single day, things that you're doing for yourself or that you're working on constantly. Those are the things that should make you happy rather than the short-term happiness. So how do you find it? How do you find what makes you happy? Maybe you haven't found your happiness yet. Maybe you're still seeking it. Maybe you have seeked it and you're trying to think if there's anything else that you can do. So here are a few things I've thought about that I think will help you to find your happy. And the first one is exactly that: find your happy. So what makes you happy? Is it changing jobs? Are you not happy within your job? Are you seeking something completely different to what you're doing? Or are you looking to excel in your career? Maybe what you're doing right now is not what you want to do. Maybe it's finding that actually those friendships and relationships are not doing you any good or providing you any value whatsoever. It's kind of the same concept as loving yourself before you find somebody. You need to find what makes you happy ultimately. It all comes down to when you're having a bad day, what you do. When you're feeling down, what you do to pick yourself back up again. I think it's finding those little elements that do enable you to make you your best self and put you back on that thing of, okay, so this is what makes me happy. It's trying to find your happy before you're happy. It's a journey in itself. Sometimes it's not something that is ultimately going to come quickly. It's constantly changing. Your happiness changes. What made you happy before might not now, and it's not something that you need to find out straight away. Maybe it's trying new things and just figuring out for yourself what it is that is going to benefit you in the long run and make you feel happy most of the time. You're not going to feel happy all of the time. I mean, that's just ridiculous because nobody is happy 100% of the time. But it's just finding things that when you are in those down moments that you think, oh, like that makes me happy. So that's the first thing, is finding your happy. Testing the reliability and reliance to it. So for example, say you wanted something for yourself, or a materialistic item, let's say a bag for example. Put the reliability/reliance test on it. How reliable is this bag? Is this bag so reliable to the point where it's going to make me happy, you know, for the short term, or happy for the long term? Should this bag be a constant reliance? Should this bag be the constant reliance that I'm always focusing on to make sure that I'm happy? And ultimately, when it's materialistic items, not necessarily. Looking at social media. How reliable is social media? It's not very reliable. You see a highlight reel of people's feeds. People will post things that want to be seen rather than things that they don't want people to see. So in terms of reliance and reliability, it's not going to be a reliable source in order to be happy. And that's what you've got to think about. So things that you can really rely on to make you happy. So things like family, having that time with yourself where you're looking looking after yourself, hanging around with the right people, doing all those hobbies that you love. They should be the things that you should be testing in terms of how reliable that is in order to fulfill your happiness. And then that leads me on to eliminating the happiness facade. And what I mean by that is the things that make you think that you're happy but really are not at all. So say for example you're in a relationship with somebody, maybe you've been with them for 6 months, a year, however long, you're sticking with it because on the outside to people are like, oh, like you look really happy, you look really solid in your relationship, I wish I had a relationship like that for myself. But then really deep down you're thinking, this isn't the relationship I want to be in, this relationship isn't fulfilling my happiness, it's just something that's put on a platform for other people, makes other people think that we're doing really well, but actually I'm not really happy in it. It's really looking at yourself and thinking, the kind of facade that you're putting on for people, you know, is that really you, or is that just a side of you that you want to make people think about you, that makes them think, oh, this person looks really happy? It's ultimately, again, what makes you happy, not this vision that you put out to other people that, you know, make other people think that you're happy. It's really thinking about what makes you happy, because that's what comes through. When you're really happy, people know. When you're really fulfilling life and leading the life you love, people will know about it. And if you're just sticking things up for the sake of it, or doing things just because it's an easier job, if it's an easier job to just stay in a relationship, it's too much hassle to leave it, then you're really making your happiness suffer. You're really disregarding that part of you that you deserve. You deserve to be happy. And I think it's important to eliminate that happiness facade and really think about what it is that's going to make you happy. Healing from past experiences. I cannot tell you enough just how important this concept is. Sometimes people look at their past experiences but don't want to look on them again, therefore they'll just brush it under the carpet and think, I'm not dealing with that anymore. People will just avoid it at all costs. Sometimes you might think that you've moved on from something might crop up and then make you think, oh, and make you go back to that time of feeling low about it, and you think, I thought I was over it, why has it come back to me? It's normal to go back to past experiences and feel low about them. It just means that you haven't healed from it. But healing is a messy process. You don't just heal from something straight away. Dating is a really good example. Say you split up with somebody and then you go and date somebody else really quickly. To some people that will think, well, that person's really happy now, but sometimes it could be just something that they're doing just to forget about the previous experience they had with that person. They're trying to find something else to distract them in the meantime. Distraction, again, that's only a short-term thing, because when you're alone with yourself in your bedroom or you're doing something on your own for a bit and then all those thoughts come up to you and then you think, oh, I haven't dealt with this is something that I'm trying to distract myself with this because I don't want to come to terms with really what's going on. It's understandable for people, but I think healing from your past experiences, it takes time. It's not something that is a quick fix. You can't distract yourself from it. You can't just brush it under the carpet and leave it. You've really got to acknowledge those feelings in order to be able to fully move on from it, because then you can look at those past experiences when they do crop up and you think, okay, I've dealt with that. I've acknowledged those feelings. I've been able to get through it myself. Sometimes it's just as simple as taking things day by day. It's really talking about your feelings, if it's just out loud to yourself or with other people, writing it down in a journal and reflecting back on it. Really healthy self-development stuff is really key from healing from past experiences, because then you're able to fully move on and be able to find your own happy in a different light compared to what you thought it was going to be before. That's probably one of the most important concepts for finding your happiness, is to deal with all your past experiences that you feel like that you have dealt with, or maybe you've not quite come to terms with yet. You know, just sit down with yourself and just identify if there is anything that is making you feel unhappy, or if there's past experiences that are still lingering. I found that for myself several weeks ago when I just kept having reoccurring dreams about the same thing, the same person. I thought, yeah, I haven't dealt from it, and that's fine. Don't feel bad that you haven't dealt with it. Just, you know, learn from it and keep dealing with it the best way you can. Picture your day. So in terms of the most happy day that you could picture for yourself, what would be going on in that? I got this tip from Chloe Brotheridge. She has her own podcast, she's released some books, and she's somebody that encourages people to evaluate their life in a healthy way with different practices and ways of looking at yourself and thinking, okay, so what is best for myself? A really positive thing that she mentioned to do with self-love is to picture your day. What would a happy day in your life look like? What time would you get up? What would you have for breakfast? What plans would you be doing that day? Who would you talk to? What time would you go to bed? You know, really evaluate evaluating each part of your day and really thinking how happy you would be in that day. Just really picturing your day just enables you to think, okay, these are the things that would make me a really happy day, and just put them into practice. You know, try it out one day, see if you can do that for yourself, see if you feel happy afterwards. If you don't, look back and think, okay, what could I have done differently? And then if you do, then you know what kind of day you should be having for yourself. And last of all, trust in your happiness. Make it real, make it happen, manifest it, be grateful for it, journal it. You've got one life to lead. Everybody has one life to lead. In that life, you should be thinking about the things that do make you happy, the little things that make you happy, the little things you do for yourself that make you happy, the things that people do for you and the things that you do for other people that make you happy, the things that you're grateful for and appreciative for that are currently in your life at the moment. Trust in that, and trust that you will find what makes you happy. It might take a little while. It's, again, a journey in itself, but it's something that's really important to do. It's something that is important to just sit down with yourself and think, okay, so ultimately what is going to make me happy? Trusting in that. It should be something that's real, something that's not fabricated. It should be something that's just solely real in your life at the moment. Trusting it to make you, first of all, just wholesome, just yourself, but something that does make you happy. I think we can look to things a bit too exterior sometimes and not really look internally. Like, that's where true happiness comes from. It's within yourself. What is my happiness? What are the things that make me happy ultimately, and what are the things I need to keep doing in order to be happy? So that's pretty much it. That's my video on happiness. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I pretty much covered everything I possibly could. If you've got any other thoughts or ideas, just pop them down in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That would be amazing. I really want to build this community as big as I possibly can, because I think it's amazing. And that's it. I will see you in my next video. Take care for now, and yeah, hope to see you soon.